this party started. Hope you're not scared of heights. All right, let's roll.
These are Brooklyn's own ship-to-shore gantry cranes. In a weekly marathon operation, they move over 1,000 containers and millions of pounds of goods, critical for New York's economy.
An older operator once told me, he said he felt like the crane was an extension of him. And I didn't really get it back then, but now I kind of do. This job is a great job, but it rarely goes smooth. So you gotta be ready to adapt and overcome, as they say.
This week, getting that job done will be even harder.
We got guys working on the ship. Last year's unlashing. We got deckmen, guys on the pier. We got trucks. So always got to be, head on a swivel. I'm already in my head thinking this is going to be a long day. So I'm going to get in, get up in the crane, make sure you're set. The other crane is having some electrical issues. It's operating at a lesser speed.
So instead of being smooth sailing, now it's going to take longer. Instead of being here 24 hours, we might be here 36 hours.
When it starts, it starts. When it finishes, it finishes. There's no breaks, no timeouts.
If that crane goes out of service, obviously the company loses money.
It doesn't always go smooth, but we are going to always finish. It's just a matter of how hard it's going to be to get to that finish line. My name is Frankie. I'm a longshoreman in Brooklyn, Red Hook Container Terminal. I've worked here for over 13 years.
This is Red Hook Container Terminal. It's a freight transport facility in Brooklyn, and it's the only one of its kind left in this area. Red Hook's ship-to-shore gantry cranes, or STS cranes, stand over 200 feet tall, and they've been running since 2001. They handle cargo barges and unload and load container ships in a non-stop operation that, when everything is smooth, runs about 24 hours. This week's operation schedule is already thrown off with a late ship.
It was supposed to come at 10 o'clock last night. It came today, this morning. So when the ship comes, we work and we kind of revolve around its schedule.
This seaboard ship mostly carries time-critical commodities for the New York area. It's coming in from Central and South America. Millions of pounds of refrigerated produce and other perishables arrive every week here. Timely departures are critical because a delay can cascade through an entire route. It can mean financial penalties and greater fuel costs. And it can risk the value of perishables and disrupt the supply chain. But there's another, bigger problem. One of the cranes isn't working properly and might give out.
This morning, we only have 2 working cranes. One is half speed, because one of the motors is kind of shorted out. I don't want to even mention it, but if it craps out, we will not be able to finish off the vessel. But I don't talk that stuff. I always try to think positive.
We have a lot of guys who have, generational longshoremen, as we call them, old timers, will teach us about the job. You kind of learn as you go. But it's definitely a job, rooted in a lot of history on the waterfront. A lot of Italian guys down here, but also it's pretty diverse. We got a lot of women now working on the waterfront, which historically wasn't always that way. We got military guys now. I myself was a military guy. I was in Iraq, 2009. I was unemployed for about a year. I was young, still figuring out what I wanted to do. And then I, heard about this opportunity, and it was one of those things, you either go for it or let it pass you up, and the rest is kind of history. So usually we get up there a little early as crane operators, so it's 5:02 right now. It's just that I know these guys are gonna break my balls in 5 minutes. I usually park back here, out of the way. VIP crane parking, don't tell anyone. So a ship like this will go, I'd say, anywhere from 24 to 28 hours around there, nonstop. One of the cranes is experiencing some electrical issues. So the other crane is going to pick up the slack, basically. And that crane might be working a little bit later than the other crane. So we're just going to kind of adapt and figure it out as we go along. That's kind of how we roll. So, yeah, welcome. Join me. Essential coffee, all right? It's very important. Red Hook Container Terminal, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Governor's Island. It's not a bad office view, Ship day, Once the ship docks, you have to get guys on the ship. You have lashers on the ship, have to unlash containers, and then only then can you start working. Seaboard victory. I don't really know if it'll feel like a victory when the day is done, but if we get done by 6 a.m., maybe that'll be a victory. This is more of a family vibe type place. Oh, look who's back. Where you been? Like a dysfunctional family, but still a family. You know what I mean? We get along, we all know each other, we laugh and joke when we can. What'd you go on deployment or something? And pocketing that extra cash, right? But at the end of the day, we want to get the job done, be safe, and look out for each other, you know? We got Superman on deck today. He's ready to move some mountains, this guy, for me. All right? Ready? Let's do it, man, all right?
Get a nice tan while we do it.
And be safe up there, all right? Well, we're actually lucky. Sometimes elevators don't work, then we got to take the stairs. And, you know, depending on how much cardio I've been doing that month is, you know, whether it's a struggle or not, so. We're gonna go up to about 130 feet. Hope you're not scared of heights.
Up on Crane 3, Frankie heads to his cab to start the first shift.
That's the boom. It goes up and down. That's the cab, which we're gonna go into. There we go. Hello from Crane 3. Yeah, we gotta grab the...
Oh my God.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Built by Ireland-based Liebherr and assembled in their New York home, the two cranes made for the Red Hook Container Terminal are categorized as post-Panamax. That's because they can load and unload containers from a ship too large to pass through the Panama Canal. At their highest point, the cranes are 210 feet. In 2000, the pair cost $12 million, or about $23 million in 2025.
These cranes, particularly the outreach, could be 150 feet, and tonnage-wise would be, for a single pick, about 40 tons max, and then for a double pick, it could be up to 65 tons.
A pick is longshoremen for lifting a container, and our crane's working load is 40 tons for a single lift, and 65 tons when lifting two containers. It can reach out 150 feet. It can lift up to 100 feet.
We're about 120 feet when we operate. This is a gantry crane. It basically means that it moves around its work environment, right?
On these tracks, we have 4 gantry motors, which gets operated when you have to move left and right on top of these tracks.
Those gantry motors and wheels allow the crane to move along the ship to access containers. The legs and portal beams form the lower part of its frame. The operator's cab is suspended from the trolley, and the trolley runs along the rails on the boom. The operator runs the trolley over the ship to lift containers using a spreader. The operator then moves the containers over the dock and places them on a truck to be taken to the storage yard.
We got the house up there, which houses most of the electrical and things like that.
Inside that White House, you have the boom motor, which makes the boom go up and down. You have 2 hoist motors.
Red Hook's post-Panamax electric motors are located in the house, near the rear of the boom. The power supply for the crane is 13.2 kilovolts. That runs to a transformer that steps it down to 480 volt AC.
So as you can see, there's a lot going on. We got guys working on the ship, lashers unlashing. We got deckmen, guys on the pier. We got trucks, right? So always got to be, you know, head on a swivel. We go fast, but safety comes first. So that's the aim of the game. Safe and quick. Good morning, Frankie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It's always nice to hear from our shop steward this early in the morning. I'm glad you can make it in today. Hell of a job, pal. Hell of a job.
A lot of Frankies here, eh?
Oh, forget it. That's Frankie the shop steward. We got Frankie the butcher, Frankie fish, Frankie the checker. I'm Frankie the crane operator. There's a lot of Frankies.
Typically, 3 operators work a crane on ship operation, and they're on for the whole time. They generally alternate with 4-hour shifts.
Come down for 4 hours, go back up for 4 hours, come down for 4 hours, maybe have to go back up for another 4 hours. It all depends how long the shift is and how many guys we have to work with. In a way, the crane operator is a captain. You're moving the whole operation. Everyone supports you. You know, late at night, 3 a.m., guys on the pier get tired. We're still rolling. We're going, you know, so you gotta have your head on a swivel at all times.
And right now, Crane 2's speed is making this a trickier operation.
You just gotta be gentle with these guys, you know. There's a human in that truck, so we're taking off containers that weigh 30 tons right now and landing them on a truck, trying to basically like not squeeze a grape, you know, like that's the mentality you wanna have. I trust these cranes. I mean, you gotta trust your machines, you know? I come from a mainly Italian background. My grandfather was a painter, my father's a painter, and unfortunately the talent was lost with me, but I have the artist's hands, the steady hand. I use it in other ways, you know? There's so many little nuances with the way this thing moves. You can obviously feel it, right? But each one of those movements tells you something about this machine, what it's doing, why it's doing it, little noises, things like that, and that takes years to develop. But those little nuances, yeah, I guess in a way, kind of become an extension of you and your senses. You know, after 10 years in the crane, it's just, you know right away what the crane's trying to tell you. Like, you can close your eyes, you feel a vibration or the cable's pulling, and you know, like, what's exactly should happen or is gonna happen. Rough morning, but, you know, it's nothing out of the ordinary. The cell guide was a little bent, so when you're trying to land a container down in the belly, you slap up against the framework and come down. It's supposed to be flush, but, you know, it's all part of the job. So we did basically what we call a 4-hour trick, and now the other operator switched with me.
But now, Frankie needs to rest and take a break.
We have our containers and our break shacks where we sleep, bunk beds and all that stuff, and we'll hang out there and get some rest. Any hour, you might have to go back up, so it's good to get a nap in, refresh, and then you come back up at 1 a.m., so it's good to get a nap in before that. Bunch of guys in a little container. It's, you know, not the prettiest sight, so I'll keep the cameras out of there for now.
The operation carries on throughout the day. And on, and on, and into the night. But Crane 2's stalling has only worsened, slowing down the entire operation. Mechanics are on the whole night, trying to keep the crane going, trying to keep the whole operation going.
Thursday morning at 7:30 exact. We're working the vessel from almost 24 hours right now. Throughout the night, I probably had a good half hour to an hour of sleep.
The ship has to leave. 11 a.m. latest. It's going. The pressure is on. And remember, at this point in the operation, they're loading containers onto the ship.
So right now, they have to pump, move faster. Everybody's in crunch mode. They have to get all those boxes on before the ship sails.
With all the mechanical problems and a lot of catching up to do, Frankie's going up for the last shift of the operation. He'll have to make up for lost time, pick up a bunch of work from the other crane, and get the operation done on time.
We're hoping that Frankie going up Crane 3 now, he'll finish his work and then hopefully take over some work from Crane 2 just so we could get out on time. So Frankie's in beast mode right now.
This job is a great job, but it rarely goes smooth. So you gotta be ready to adapt and overcome, as they say. You gotta be aggressive, but not too aggressive. You gotta be patient. You know, you gotta be safe when you operate, but also our cranes, our operation is more about productivity and speed. So, you know, it's very good for the company. The faster we go and get things done.
Frank right now is over the cell, loading containers down the cell. So he's back there pretty much 3/4 of the way up the boom, and now he's trolleying back to go pick up another container.
Global trade never stops, right? So we work when we have to work. There is no like, oh, I'm gonna take off tomorrow, especially as a crane operator.
There's a lot of changes happening around here. Red Hook Terminal can feel old school. It's really the last of its kind in the city.
This is the last pier in a line of piers since the 60s and 70s. We're the last remaining pier.
We got the orange crane that's over there. It's actually coming down. We have another one, it's a blue crane that's coming down after that one.
We're supposed to be getting a new crane, actually, in I think 2027. They already signed for it. So who knows? That thing might be state of the art. It might make this crane look like, like an old dinosaur.
I'm gonna miss that orange one especially. That has some part of sentimental value to me because many years ago, my father was the operator of that crane, and 15 years old, that was the crane that my father took me up.
The new Liebherr-made STS crane will be a Super Post Panamax, the largest type of container crane. The New York City Economic Development Corporation, which owns the terminal, purchased the new electric crane for $15 million.
I guess the bigger picture is that in the grand scheme of things, companies could possibly imagine that AI and machines could do our job better than we can. So I guess that's most people's concern.
There's a general concern amongst longshoremen about automation and the potential loss of work. Liebherr offers automation for new cranes, but no public records indicate whether the new crane contract includes this feature, and the company running the terminal hasn't suggested they're interested. Dock workers also have contractual protections against automation. Still, there's some concern. Right now, in this operation, it's feeling tight. Frankie's trying to wrap up and get the remaining containers on board with enough time for the ship to go through necessary departure procedures. And somehow, they've made it. The ship has its containers on board. It can leave New York Harbor and set off for Central America.
We just finished operations with this ship. Took about, I guess, 27 hours. I'd say it literally went to the limit because the ship had to leave at 11. So we got it out, you know, just in time. We had a few hiccups here and there, but, you know, with some good teamwork, some great mechanics, some good operators around, we were able to get her out on time.
We're always gonna make it, you know? It's in what time frame that you want us to make it, that's a different story. But we're always gonna make it.
It doesn't always go smooth, but we are gonna always finish. It's just a matter of how hard it's gonna be to get to that finish line.
But here, when a container barge comes in later today, Frankie and other longshoremen will be back to work on their cranes.
To keep this place here working and showing people the value of a working waterfront, I think it's very important. You know, God forbid, in the next pandemic or disaster, you need a ship to come in and get goods. Welcome to Red Hook Container Terminal. That's what we're here for, you know? At the end of the day, I don't believe that a machine can operate that crane better than I can. I think that there is definitely a human factor to it. It has to do with safety. It has to do with motivation. It has to do with, you know, all kinds of things that a machine can't feel, you know? So you put me up against a machine, I'll take the machine down. I'm not worried about that. This is a very particular place. It's basically like a historical landmark, you know, so I'll be here as long as it's open, probably.